We're on number 15 of the 19 things that I don't teach in real estate school, and we're going to be talking a little bit about setting goals and creating a plan. I do believe that a goal that's not written down is merely a wish. It physically, literally does not exist in this world because the only place it exists is in your head. In this day and age of technology, I'm kind of old school when it comes to this because I want you to literally write your goals down and write your action plan. Why? Well, number one, if you believe in the laws of attraction or anything, then it materializes it. It physically does exist in this world now. So you've got that going for you. And also, I believe that there's something psychological about it where when you put pen to paper, it's kind of like a commitment to yourself. It's almost as if you're signing a contract. So set goals and create a plan that's written. And I don't care from that point after it's written down if you also put it online. But I really encourage you to consider creating a plan that's written first. So stop being realistic and reasonable. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that so many people set what they would call realistic goals and want to make sure that they're being reasonable. But who's to say what's realistic or even reasonable? I want you to be unrealistic and I want you to be unreasonable. And I'm sorry if your goals seem unreasonable to other people or it makes them feel insecure. But how they feel about you or how they feel about what it is you're doing is none of your business. So who gets to dictate what's realistic and reasonable? Well, it's certainly not your friends because at the end of the day, they're not the ones putting food on the table. Are they? So get unrealistic and stop worrying about setting realistic goals. Now I say that of course being within reason, all right? I mean you have to be reasonable to the definition, but I think you get the context and gist of what I'm saying here is so many people set goals based on not wanting to set themselves up for failure. They see it as black and white. I either failed or succeeded. Either you did or you didn't, and they feel by falling short of that goal that all of a sudden they're not worthy and they failed. Well, that's not how it is. It's not so absolute in the world the way I see it. How do you become conditioned like this as adults? Didn't you grow up as a child? We often grow up saying, hey, I want to be an astronaut. We want to be a professional athlete, or we want to be a teacher, veterinarian, or whatever it is, or a realtor. We grow up with no limitations because we're playing with this childlike heart and we have a childlike faith. And then what happens is we become conditioned as adults because we hear the word no or we're not worthy of that. Money doesn't grow on trees. What's wrong with you? Hearing all of these things over time often conditions us as adults to just want to be comfortable. And that's why we find ourselves saying, I just want to become comfortable. Money's not everything, and money can't buy happiness. And I'm not saying I disagree with all of that. I agree that money can't buy you happiness, but money does magnify the person that you are. And at the end of the day, it's not about the money, it's about what the money can do for you. So we have the right to earn as much of it as we can. Because if you don't want it, give it away or do something really good with that money. Now shame on us if we're not maximizing our fullest potential because there's a lot of people out there, a lot of organizations out there who sure can use it. So stop being selfish. If you have a child or know somebody who has a child and this child came up to you and said, hey, I'm really excited, I want to be an astronaut. That's what I'm going to be when I grow up. Are you seriously going to tell me that you're going to stand there and say, little Johnny, that's cute. I think you're being unreasonable. Why don't you set some realistic goals? And I think you should just plan on being comfortable. After all, I'm not sure you're smart enough to be an astronaut. That's probably meant for somebody else. I mean, dude, are you kidding me right now? Would you dare say that to a child? I hope not. So why are you saying it to yourself? Knock it off and get out of your head. Why are you saying those things to yourself? Oh, well, because I'm an adult. I have a lot of responsibilities. And I don't have enough time in the day, and any of that BS. Give me a break. If it's important to you, you're gonna find a way. If it's not, you're gonna find an excuse, period. As C.S. Lewis says, you're never too old to set a new goal, or dream, or new dream. So I don't want to hear you say, oh, well, it's age, or it's time, or whatever. No, no, no. Right now, in this important time of decision, you can say that once and for all, these are my goals, and this is my plan to achieve them. And then from there, once you have clarity around your goals and how that's going to fund your perfect life, we just reverse engineer a business plan. We just break it down into smaller goals and tasks. You have to accept that success oftentimes is boring, it's repetitive, it's mundane. Okay, you have to accept that boredom that's associated with mastery, that's also known as committing to the process. Commitment is doing what you said you're gonna do long after the feeling and emotion in which you said it has passed. So let's say 6 months down the road after you've heard a whole bunch of no's and everybody's telling you you're not worthy and maybe you should go get a real job. Are you still going to be just as committed to the process as you are right now or whenever you're in your peak state of emotion and you're going to conquer the world and this is it once and for all? You're crazy excited and committed to what you said you're going to do. Yes or no? It's quite simple. It's black and white and it's you making a decision and you being okay with the day-to-day stuff it's going to take. Like lead generation, we've talked about that already. That's what's going to make the difference. It's doing the boring stuff that's actually not so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. I'm going to say that again. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. We have the same number of hours in the day and oftentimes the same tools and resources and technologies available to us. So how in God's green earth can someone else close 20 million a year in volume and the next person is struggling just to close one home? Well, it's a choice. It's a self-sabotaging habit and decisions. So you just have to make a decision and commit to it. Keep your goals right in front of you at all times and revisit them often. This is something incredibly important. Let this wake you up. Why do we spend time to make a grocery list? So we can go to the grocery store and be efficient. Why would we not spend the time to do that on our goals and our life plan? Why do we get more jacked up and crazy excited about our favorite sports team when they're competing for a championship game than we do around our own life goals? So this is the time for all of us to check up from the neck up and say, this is serious. What you do matters. Inheritance is what you leave for somebody else, but legacy is what you leave inside of somebody else. Your goals, your plan of action is so much bigger than yourself if you're willing to accept that, and the responsibility and the accountability associated with it. So set your goals, make a plan, and write it down. I'll talk to you in the next one, number 16, be a time blocking ninja.